almost 70% of people in game industry like hates AI. I don't want AI to write stories for me. I think AI should not be the one to like grading art.
Hi folks, welcome to this episode of 18VC podcast. We're thrilled to have Heroza Zhang, the co-founder and CEO of Gorest, with us for this episode.
We are building a multi-agent for anyone who creates interactive AAA games. We can just allow them to just like put their like sketch or ideas inside, and we can just directly create this like Greyboxing all. We just make the boring things to be not and keep your ideas here. I want to understand like why I was put here. Am I an NPC or am I someone? And I was thinking about maybe like I can simulate the whole world sometime to understand, like to predict the future and understand the past.
For listeners who may be unfamiliar with us, we are the 18VC podcast, a student-run podcast featuring student and young founders as well as investors voted to back the youngest and smartest minds. And we hope to become the first public signal of identifying the high potential founders.
We would like to thank Frontier Tower for this space. Frontier Tower is a 16-floor hub for Frontier builders to build, ship, and scale, and a vibrant community for the innovators together. If you're a founder or investor, definitely pay a visit and check out their events. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you here, Heroza. Would you mind doing like a brief introduction to our audience about who you are and what you're building?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, I'm Heroza, co-founder and CEO of Gorest. So we are building a multi-agent for anyone who creates interactive AAA games, so which is a kind of really high quality and like 3D result and interactive and playable world.
And I do see that your first experience listed on LinkedIn was actually already running a video game community, right? Developer community. And then you go to the perfect world. I think it's another game studio for your internships. Like, we were just curious, like, how did you get into the world, like game and game development world? Like, how did you start?
Okay, so I think it's back to my like initial vision of my like life targets. Because I'd like to like understand like everything, like not only about like the theory of how everything's rotated and also how like everyone feels like in their mind or something, like almost everything. I'm really like curious and wondering to understand at the very beginning, and I was thinking about maybe like I can simulate the whole world sometime to understand, like to predict the future and understand the past. Like that is my like initial vision, and then I was like deep passionate about creating, like creating stories or like drawing or like movies or even like games. And I find so like game is kind of like interactive word, so they are a good combination. And I think by making a platform for anyone to make games, to make an interactive world from their mind, so I can not only doing things I'm interested in, and also I can finish my like target of understand everything.
I think you talk about, you want to understand not only the universe, but also every people you meet along the way, right? I'm very curious about the drive behind that that statement, or what prompted you, or is there anything, any people, any event that kind of shaped how you developed that curiosity? In other words, like what about understanding people? What's the part about understanding people that fascinated you the most?
I think so for people, like understanding other people, so it's more like to not only know like why they are maybe talking to you and act in that way, but also like not other people and also myself about like who I am and why I'm here and where I am. Sometimes maybe like people question like themselves every day when they wake up from their bed, but actually, so maybe like everyone has their own identity, like which school they are from or which background they're from, but
for sure.
But that is just actually a name, or like, and they're just like an NPC from a game. They were just put there, but actually, what is the reason? What is the meaning behind that? I'm not sure, and I guess that like almost most of the people cannot answer this question really like friendly. So I think that is a part I would like to understand. I mean, like about myself, I want to understand like why I was put here. Am I an NPC or am I someone? So it's kind of
Are
like
you an NPC?
Like
That's a great question.
Maybe. And also like understand why other people act in that way and why they are put there. But I think if I want to really understand why I'm here, the better way is to understand the whole world, because like for example, you can like fully understand an NPC from a game because you know there's which kind of game is it. by like so you know which position the NPCs put. But in the real world, I mean, people are like limited by their like knowledge and their perspective.
Absolutely.
But if like people like learning more, understanding more, and even like the whole thing, they will be like 100% sure what they are. So it's actually this kind of thing. So like really philosophy.
Interesting. And just initially you enjoy more playing games or actually developing games? How do they? Yeah.
So for me, game is not something to make people fun, like to play together. For me, game is like an interactive world. And for people who is creating the games, so they are not actually showing themselves to their audience, or maybe some creators think they are competing with their audience. Like I want to show my player this thing, and my player need to get over this level, and maybe sometimes they finally understand what I want to show to them. There's also another kind of design. And actually, so for me, I was thinking, no matter what the author want to show to their audience, they're actually showing their perspective. They see the whole world. So yeah, so game is actually an interactive world from different people perspective. And if you want to fully understand a person, maybe even though like he or she say like really close to you or talking about the things in their mind, but you might not really care about it, or you might not fully understand it. But when you really like get into their perspective, you know how they will the world, then you can fully finally understand them. Or it's another example. So I used to like play a game which like the main character is blind. So I mean the whole screen is black. Yeah, and you can only like mimic. You are using like a stick to like touch something, and there will be like the white line like just appear. So you can like using this way to feel, oh, is here like a block, or is here a table, something like that. Yeah, so that was a game like really impressed me, because I really can understand what blind people are experiencing. Yeah, so wait, I believe I forgot about what is the initial question actually.
Oh yeah, I was just asking like, do you attracted more to playing games or like developing games? Which are you more like attracted to?
Okay, so get back to it. I'm more enjoying about so my interest is about creating itself, but not creating like just like some games for people to play or something. I'm more like creating a story, creating an interactive world, like with every people's stories and perspective, just like a real world, like combined together, and how they work and how the world is work. So that is thing I'm enjoying about. And yeah, in about playing, I'm not like just using my spare time to like try to pursue something in a game. I'm more like, okay, so I want to understand this perspective, and I just go into it. Yeah.
Interesting. I assume like maybe you would not prefer just more commercialized games where players are like kind of
you pay to win.
Yeah, you pay to win. They're just encouraged to pay more, or maybe do this ranking. Maybe you're not in that type of game.
I'm more like enjoying adventure or narrative games.
Okay, yeah, I can.
Yeah,
see.
but at the same time, I also playing chess.
Okay,
yeah, so you're definitely competitive for sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think the next question will be. I do remember there was in your LinkedIn post you mentioned you do your graduate project, which maybe finally turned into Gorest. Is that the story there?
Yeah. So when I was pursuing my master degree in Cornell, so just 1 year, and I put my capstone like as a first semester like. So the capstone is about researching the like AI in gaming. So that was the beginning in 2025, and that year, so the AI is not like as popular as this year in gaming industry, and like almost 70% of people in gaming industry like hates AI. Like yeah, when you are taking especially the generative AI. So, and at that period, there is still a kind of like practice or like exploration of how AI, like the play mechanism, can be combined in like a games. So that sound like famous brand, maybe like one night or like AI to you. So there those kind of games. Yeah, so it's just the beginning, and yeah, like they're trying to find what if like they put like AI mechanism instead of game, will people feel like more different like feeling than like we thought? Because yeah, so actually there's is like different kind of thoughts, because like people may thinking if they put like so we want to experience, like for example, when we are playing a game, we want to like make our decision really affect the world. And in the past, the designer will design like a whole train about different choice and makes the player thinking they are really if their action really affects the result.
Yeah.
But actually it is not. It is actually still part of the train.
Yeah.
It's already programmed.
Yeah. So now like people are making games, are trying to make this train to be not be limited by the train, but like AI can generate more things and more possibility. And that is a initial like thoughts. But the thing is, no matter how many train is it, there's still one line the protagonist or the player will experience. So if it is made by human, they will just like try their best to make this line to be as good as enough. But if this line is made by AI, then nobody can make sure the experience is good. And maybe so maybe the player did not like experience the best part like made by the designer, but actually like a random mix like made by AI. So, and also people are trying to making some like AI companion product, like to maybe talk with the NPC and like get their feedback to trying to like gathering more attention or any kind of things. And there are many players just reflects the AI part does not make the game to be like more interesting than we thought. So I think there's still a part like people need to explore about how like, to making a better
For sure.
like connection. But I think for those games are like currently famous. They are famous not because they like aid on AI mechanism, but actually still because their designer have a good talent and really use their heart to put it inside of the games. And
it's because they're fun. I mean, essentially, if you create games, you want the games to be fun, be playable by people. That's the only way where you can get an immense fan base, right? I think people sometimes think too much about how you can like make this game better or more something else, which is kind of not irrelevant to how to the game mechanics can actually make it fun. And Heroza, you seem to have a lot of identities and roles, right? Like you are a novelist, and you are a design narrator, you're an engineer, and then you're also a Xiangqi player. I mean, a Xiangqi grandmaster, I would say, right? A designer create worlds, Xiangqi create orders, and you also need an engine. Well, you also need engineers that create an engine to support both, right? Which, out of all those different tendencies that you have, which disciplines do you feel like most directly shaped how you will want to build Gorest?
Okay, so I think as you mentioned, like Xiangqi is a kind of order, so it's more logically,
right? And
like design narrative stories, it's more like emotionally. So like just to make, because what is a word is combined of like 100 like half percent of emotion, and half percent of the logic. And I think that shapes my mind. So so I use chess to practice my way to like thinking logically, and I also using stories to create, to understand about how people like react emotionally. And I think that will be a best combination of how we define the whole world, and that will be shape about how we should make an interactive world. And I think once we fully understand how the world should be made out, then when we create like a platform for anyone to make something, like we are the best person who know how creators wanna make and what is the most important element inside. So it will be not limited by maybe if I just know programming, then I might I might just like build some like block which is black, and like maybe the UI did not have good taste, and just put them together and say, okay, so it has a great design of the coding structure, but that is not really workable for the current like era, because like people are more cherished about like the know-how about how the people who are building games. So
has it happened before that your designer persona fight against your the engineer persona, and they try to reach a compromise? You know,
Do
like
you guys really think I'm an engineer?
well, I mean, more about like the older maintainer, right? For example, if regarding like gameplay, game mechanics, game logic, you're saying that we should have like order here, but then the designer have inside her heart, it's like, no, we should make it more artistic, which is more abstract, so that people can enjoy it from it, right? Has that ever happened in the past?
So when I was in my game studio with with other people, they're really like experienced and talented. Yeah, I was like still young. So I was a narrative designer. Yeah, I designed the stories. I was not like programmer then, or so I think it's more like about the limitation of time, because sometimes I might create a big like word and like stories, and I give it to like my team, and my team say the design is too big to be shown in the game, and we just have 2 weeks to finish it, and the launch it's limited by like maybe 50 minutes. So I have to cut my design, I have to cut my stories, and I think that's why we need like something like Gorest, because like for AAA games, for example, it used to take a lot of time, a lot of cost. So it's actually be impossible for like small team or individual to make a big enough games and to show every ideas of their mind. But now like we have the like potential and ability to make everything outside of our mind. So I think the total quality of game will be improved because the idea will not be limited by technical barrier. There's
a question and later that we can dig deeper into that.
Yeah, and talking about this founder journey, I think it's not a very typical path of career pursuit, especially for I would say Chinese or Asian families. How is there any people or any event that kind of inspire you or encourage you to like become a founder one day, or what was the story behind?
I was wondering to become like building my own thing at the very beginning, but at that time I was thinking about I'm not sure that thing is beneficial. I think, or actually in my mind it's like if I can gather enough like revenue or anything, I can put those money into something maybe not beneficial enough. But what is it? It's actually like I will collect every of the talented people I know in each of the field or industry be together and investigate which kind of things is investigate their part. So like we can make this world simulator together to understand the whole world. But now and like till today, I find maybe actually I can combine my like initial startup with this idea together, and it is not non-beneficial. It is beneficial, or maybe not. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm more curious about the long-term vision, and I think people are also excited about like understand everything and predict everything. Yeah, but there's still an event which is really important for me. It was when I was in high school. Yeah, so I joined a hackathon. Yeah, this was 2020. Yeah, and as a year, I don't, because my undergraduate is computer science degree, but before that, I have no experience of how to do programming. And people just ask me to join a hackathon, and I say I know nothing, but I don't know what can I do. I don't even know. So that was the emergence time of like people having Figma. So actually building a UI is also hard. So I just joined, and I find there's a good role like for people without any experience to do that. It's team leader. I'm just kidding you. Actually, it's product manager.
Oh my God, rip to all PM out there.
For me. I'm a product manager, so I'm just like joking to myself. So don't mind. Yeah. So yeah, actually, product manager also need to learn a lot of things. But at that time, I think it's easier than learning programmer today. So I still need to learn, but anyway, so I just trying to learn and think that period about how to like draw like Gantt, like diagram, or like how to plan and how to design like a product and like assign it to my teammates, something like that. And at that time, I find if I wanna like add a feature, like every time I need to communicate with my like programmer, I need to understand whether this feature gonna work. And I think it wastes a lot of time. I think a good product manager should understand the technical part, or at least like they can know whether the feature is workable or not. So it'll be like also an important quality. So product manager is not a role like everyone can do. So just ignore my joke. And And at that time, so even though I do not have like any, I don't even know what is venture capital, but I just joined that hackathon, and and there's like the event host called Zenner. I think he was just graduated from like Stanford's like graduate business school.
Stanford GSB.
And I think he's building his own startup in Silicon Valley.
Cool.
Yeah, so the event is he hosted, and also he invite many of his friends from like big company and also from maybe different startups, but those startups already did well, and also venture capital.
Right.
Like. Yeah, so we have a chance to do the office hour, and and I join like people's office hour, and I like I think I met like my like teacher there, and they just say I think because I'm just a high school student without any experience. And I was in China, so I have no idea of how everything going. But I think when I joined that office hour, and the guy is just telling, he's really like respects me about, even though I'm just a kid there. And when I just telling him about the ideas, and he's still listening and give me some advice, and maybe he like seeing my products, and he say, okay, it's a like good way, or like which direction is better, or like advice. So I think that was the time I feel. And I just looking about their like career path, and I know what venture capital is and what startup going, and I find like how to design the career and how to find a good way to solve this problem and to make the things like just used to be in our mind to be real. So and for the people like I feel most impressive joining that hackathon. I think the host like then teach me a lot, and also the people I met in the office hour, like he's building the autonomous driving company right now, and
like that hackathon is your first impression of the entire venture and entrepreneurship industry.
Actually, I used to also do like founded some like small group, for example, like building contents or like holding event, like before joining that hackathon. But that hackathon was actually the important part, taking me to the venture capital industry.
For sure.
And
Well, Heroza learned about venture capital, back in high school. When did you learn about it?
Oh, I learned about it
like just a year ago, right? Yeah. So it's important, guys. Show up on hackathon. I think I was still climbing the tree when I was in high school. So.
I don't know. There's hackathon. And for just move on a little bit to your startup. For somebody who may never use Unity or Unreal Engine, how would you describe Gorest to them?
I think our product is just for everyone who want to build games. If they never use Unity and Unreal, then that is a good signal. So we would just say, actually just like everything from your, like bring the AAA kingdom from your mind, and you will like instruct your AI team, and you can just provide your ideas, and you will instruct. That is a vision we are looking for.
That's a bold claim. I do want to follow up a little bit, because I remember you mentioned that, I think you mentioned that you're trying to build this for prosumers, right? Instead of just the beginners. What exactly is the target population of Gorest? Is it, for example, indie developers, beginners, prosumers, or like mature game studios?
So we begin from the small niche. We begin from the prosumer.
Okay.
But there's a question. It's like the chains of every AI products. It's meant to be no barrier.
Okay.
So so like anyone like can understand it. So that will be the better strategy. Like for example, you just plug it, and so that is actually the chains. So every tool which still have the barrier will like slowly maybe there's a possible like just dying. So we have to just follow the chains.
Got it.
But actually, why we targeting to prosumer at the beginning? It's we wanted to make sure we are really improving the total quality of the industry and to solving the old problem that people are like ideas and are caught by the limitation of technical. That it's the themes, and that is the reason why we want to make sure the prosumer industry to be like good enough to be like
effective. So in one sentence, what is the exact problem this prosumer population you're targeting facing today most acutely?
For the part which is repetitive or tedious or manually, all be like replaced and simply made if like people have the ideas from their mind, just be put out.
What's the kind of monetary and time cost for them to use their old ways? I think you mentioned an example of people using Gorest spend 5 minutes it's instead of 8 hours, if I remember correctly, or some analogy like that. Could you kind of walk us through that, like how that's possible, basically?
Yeah. So we know many people hate generative AI, and and we also know people does not like AI to do something people are good at. But when we are really interviewing people, we find that actually, because for example, I'm a good storyteller.
Yes.
I don't want AI to write stories for me.
Yes.
And like if you are an animator, you don't want AI to do animate for me. But actually, you really be happy to let AI
do other parts, huh?
Yes.
I don't care about other parts, I just do the rest.
Yeah. So that's why we are thinking about we should like making sure like every part should be like done by, should be work well. Yeah, so that's why we like build this like features, and like so we started from like without generative AI, but it's a really part without any creation and everyone's really hate of.
Yes.
That's why we started from there.
Yes.
So that is a part, no matter you are a designer or you are a programmer, you don't like, hey, what is that? It's actually in game, it's called, or especially AAA, it's called Greybox. So what is Greybox? Greybox, so you can understand, it's like when you are watching Hollywood movies, maybe the Zootopia, and there's like a fox and the rabbits, but they are not, when they are first shot by camera or like by the storyboard, it is actually the final 3D model, like as elaborated as a fox and rabbit. They're actually just, without any texture. They're just like simple gray fox there, and they're just wanna testing the shot sometimes. Yeah, so that is like in game industry, it's called Greybox. It is when the game designer has the ideas, but they are not sure like how long does this level takes and how they work and whether the gameplay is interesting enough. They will manually just create a gray box. So they will just like add a cube and like add a like character, which is really simple, and just like put it to hide inside, or like maybe for example testing whether the level or the elevator is like high.
So it's prototyping to see whether basically it fits the physical world. Whether the enemy it's gonna appear, right? Well, if the game mechanic basically asks you to not see the enemy, and the enemy has to hide behind a tree, then you can prototype and actually figure out if you're able to see the enemy behind a tree. Things like that.
Yeah, there's something like that. So that is part we are just helping, because when game designers are doing that, they are normally just in a like top and wheel map and just make it out and manually like edit in the engine or something. But now like we can just allow them to just like put their like sketch relatives inside, and we can just directly create this like gray box out and make like a really simple way for them to modify based on that. So that is how we save time, and also like and maybe build the things they really wondering.
Right. I think for Unity and Unreal, they also have their in-house grayboxing tool. I think for Unity it's called Pro Builder, and I think for Unreal it's called BSL Tools. What is something that Gorest let prosumers, which is your primary target, do that they cannot do by just adding AI assistant or just a few plugins to their existing tools?
Yeah, so actually those two are more like there's gonna be like an easier maybe UI for you to drag like a box or something. That is how those tools work. But actually it kind of belongs to like earlier stage. So just like adding a block. But a block need like physics, a block need like interaction, like need mimicking the character, like and everything, like storyline. So it is actually not just adding a block or adding a box inside. So I think that is a difference. So for those plugins, it's actually just helping you to maybe build architecture, but we are actually helping you to really fuzzy build a really workable and interactive like Greybox. So I think that's the difference.
Could you maybe elaborate a little bit more on that part, maybe?
You mean like interactive?
Yeah, right. Like still, I want to get deeper into like the differentiation between this and just a few plugins, in Unreal or like Unity.
Yeah. So Pro Builder is actually for you to like drag the box and create a box here. So that's it. But we are not only just help you to fuzzily like from your like library's design and just fastly generate like the whole structure. And also your character is ready to play inside, to like open the door inside, to interact with the like monster inside. So like everything is settled down. So I mean it's huge more than like a simple like box strategy. Yeah, so I think that's the difference.
Interesting. Okay. And what part of like data do Gorest own in the workflow?
Data, you mean?
Yeah. For example, I'm just curious. Like an example would be because like your basically the Gorest will interpret the intent of the designers and convert those intent and sketches and ideas into the prototype, right? So, for example, if I have my sketches in, but then the prototype out, and I don't like the prototype, then I will make a feedback, or I'll say, you know, I don't like it. This is not what I want. Then there could be like, is there like a self-correction mechanism that you feed the feedback from the users back into the software, and then it, you know, generate better and more tailored responses?
So I think the first thing is that whether the game is really interesting or not, it will be hard to define by AI.
Okay.
Or graded by AI, and creator will really hate that. And actually, there's a reason for people to hate that. But if, for example, we wanna create libraries, but the libraries is blocked and people actually cannot go out, there's no exit, then we have a mechanism to like alert them that there's no exit. So you might need to try to make one. Yeah, that is the part we are like warning them about. But like most of the time, if the level gonna be like almost like 100% exactly of what the creator want to create, and maybe so but if so it's not like a random thing.
I see.
But if they try and maybe the level in their mind is not like fluent enough, they need to simply indent it, then like you just do like simply modification and test it again.
Okay, I see. Makes sense.
And I do see, like in your previous LinkedIn post, again, you mentioned that like Gorest does precise mesh generation from sketches, no AI generated assets, no black box, full copyright ownership. What's the specific distinction between, for example, AI generated asset and the one you are making?
Because for AI generative assets, like make a computer as example. So AI generate assets. So AI will generate a black computer with like, for example, the keyboards and like your screen, and you can see what is shown on your screen. But for things we are making, it's actually like there's nothing on the screen, or there's no like black on here. It's everything just like a gray, or even it'll be so you know that's the difference, is because it'll be actually not like kind of generative AI, so or maybe it's more like two simple cube we put together something. Maybe if you like, for example, you really want to connect with the generative AI API, you want to make the Greybox to be replaced by a real generated result, then there'll be like problem people considering about whether this so generative strategy belongs to or something. But actually for Greybox, you really need to make it to be as real as the like things you are looking at.
And you don't have like color, so it's like just like a very rough prototype. And it just belongs to you.
If you can see, there are many posts on Twitter right now about people want to make the video generation to be controllable enough. And they are like, I think there's an example in my seats, like trying the shot in the Blender and like recording it and put it into like video generation to make it to be more controllable. But actually for the shot in the Blender, you see like they're all like gray. So actually this kind of like important part, and which need to be kept in the industry, like to make things.
Interesting. You've also written that no LLM is able to produce make the next Elden Ring, right? If prompts are not the answer, then where exactly should AI stop and human judgment come in?
Actually, so I think that's actually. So we make this sentence to be like why prompts does not prawns means like AI builds whole things for you.
It can never replace human taste, which is the
I
other
think
thing you
that
said.
is what we want to express.
Yeah. So how does that shape the product philosophy behind the Gorest?
So I think first of all, we are really solving something like when before we making that, we introduce like huge amounts of people from game industry to find whether they are currently using AI and whether their attitude towards AI and what's their current workflow and what is the most challenging part for them to like freely make their game something.
Yeah.
So I think it's more like a weapon for the creators. So like I think the saddest part for people is like when people are saying like pending work or something, they are saying maybe like AI's work is better than human, but actually there's actually many good ideas inside of humans' mind, but they just don't have time or don't have chance to make it out. And I think we are trying to make weapon for like human creator to like just release their ideas and to make like every good point out. Yeah, so that is a like philosophy, but not like just saying okay, so there's no more like AAA and like we are just like prompt and like get like everything work by AI and like one sentence to games and this game will be huge, more interesting than human made. No, so that is not the thing we are currently making. So we are more like creating something for a human to create something.
And like in application, when you're in reality, how do you draw the line between having the tool amplify human creators instead of just replacing it?
I think, for example, when we are choosing like Greybox targets,
right.
we are more like so that is part actually because like dragging a box is really boring.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know where you want to put, but
yeah.
you have to just like adding blocks. Yeah, you just need to like manually build this by your hand. So like we just make the boring things to be not and keep your ideas here, but not like we are asking. But it's not like okay, hi, I want to build a game, but I don't know what game. So I just tell AI I want to build a game, and AI give me a like whole design, and AI like instructs and I can now define like whether it's interesting or that element is flawed. So that is more like trying to replace. And also it is like especially when you are asking AI to grading the games for people, I think AI should not be the one to like grading arts or something. And I think that is about the differences between like replacing or like for humans. So that is amplifying.
And Gorest still requires the input, right? For example, like an idea or a sketch from the human creators. Which does text usually work better, or a sketch usually work better, or combination of both?
I think combination
of both. Okay, so I mean that's kind of the big thing that I want to talk about here is that because you still require the inputs instead of you still have to ask the human creators to submit like a context, like a sketch of the castle. For example, when I create a castle using Gorest, then I have to have my own idea of how the sketch of the castle looks like, and then I tell the Gorest, and the Gorest gonna finish the prototyping work for me. And it's not like I just ask Gorest to create a castle for me. Because that would just be replacing my idea, right?
Actually, I think it depends, because if you only have the ideas about building a castle, then I think like Gorest can make it for you.
Okay.
But if you have ideas of how a good castle looks like, then that differentiate your castle than other people's.
That makes way more sense.
And if you have a good idea of the castle, then you can have a better castle than other people.
Okay, that makes way more sense. Let's talk about something serious. How do you make money? What's your business model? Who are you trying to? What population do you want them to pay for this software?
Okay, so we began from the professional industry so we started from small animation studio for game studio,
right.
And also some like related studio who need to building this kind of like simulation. Yeah, and our business model is more like by different team or like individual or especially like for Zootopia, but there's also like enterprise like different version, and for like like a yearly or monthly subscription
okay.
and token.
And also by usage.
Yeah, and
Got
for
it.
the long term, we're gonna applicable like the advertisements. So it's kind of like simulated to the Unity. If you can think about their business model, yeah, that is what we're
makes more sense.
Yeah, and we are moving a little bit to the technical part, a little bit behind the magic beneath.
Gonna dissect the magic here.
Yeah, and I think there was like a Stanford project that's called Sketch to Greybox. I think it's around 2022. They basically proposed you can draw like a sketch on your paper or whatever, took a picture, it will generate like a 3D asset for you. Are you using like a similar technology, or what's making the difference here that maybe your product can become a more commercializable, maybe a more reliable product?
You mean about the technical feature, or?
Yeah, kind of. Is there any difference between like some of the previous technology and the one you are using right now? Is there something happen because of this AI tool? Because I think 2022 is like before everything AI happens, right? And like now maybe it's some new things happen that maybe this whole thing is different, even though looks like you're achieving some similar results, right?
Yeah, we used to be asked about this question. So there's a most distinguished like part is word model or 3D model, and like people saying, for example, like video generation, or because they think why those like word model generation will not be like replace your guys' work, like the traditional way of making games or something. And actually, there are many like model like companies right now are training their own model to simulate a visual result of how they look at the whole world. But actually, no matter it is like interactive or not, they are still like a model, and like people currently really like a combination. Like they need an agent to combine those models together, and there will be a like symbol like 3D editor for everyone to understand and use that model to create things really need. And that is a kind of like agent we are currently making. Yeah. So we are not really competing or like afraid of those like model generation improvement, but actually we are really acceptable. Also like some games generation model like Claude or GPTs, actually we are just trying to using their talent to make this agent to be like really combined and work for human, because model is not designed for human, but like agent is.
So basically you are saying that even with all these improvements in either Claude, ChatGPT, or maybe just these word models, they can help you basically improve your ability to create better prototypes or for the game design, right?
Yeah, and we are currently building the structure for making those models to be like reliable enough in our platform, and like prepare earlier for that.
I think you also mentioned that you don't at least for this current version, Gorest doesn't use AI generated assets, right?
So for current stages, currently we like, because AAA is really a long-term work, and we're starting from the Greybox. Yeah, but I think
going forward,
but there's gonna be a like application people really need that, then there's also a way like we use this combination in the future. Yeah,
I mean, you can see like Fable 5, it's back, and then GPT 5.6 Soul, right, it's coming up. Do you think your product's still going to be defensible after the next major foundational model update? Will they get commoditized by or absorbed by the power of a foundation model? Because originally we're being using like we do post-production of our own podcasts, right? I've been using some pretty good editing tools, and then we just heard from a friend who's a influencer herself, and she's been using like Claude without going through those intermediary editing tools for post-production of her own videos. So we were just thinking like if Claude could just replace all those tools, it's a tool that's commonly considered kind of niche, it's like video editing, post-production space, then there could be a lot of so many other spaces or niches that we thought would be niches and it would be hard for absorb, but could be easily absorbed by the next foundational model updates. So just thinking like if what's your take on that, and if like you think like game asset, game engine prototyping could be the next one that get absorbed fairly easily or not?
So the first thing is from my mind is about they are fundamental model. And 20 years ago, people actually can use C++ to make games. They they don't need Unity or Unreal. But they use Unity or Unreal. It is because like a new technology will appear, and there should be a way like to make a good like combine and to mix them together to be put it out instead of like human being. Like for example, like AAA games cannot be directly generated by cloud, especially like about the rendering part. So because it will be limited by the tech stack, and you cannot see the quality to be high enough as AAA games it is. So that is a thing. So that's why like 20 years ago, people have C++, but people use Unity, and like 20 years later, people have the fundamental like model, but we need a new engine for that. That is the things like I used to think about. And like I was convincing about. But when I was talking to my game designer friends recently, there's a more interesting point like I heard from them. So because the generation can only like make a prototype like for people and or maybe like iterate based on the prototype. But for the real like game production pipeline, it is actually cannot be like, it can only be for you to make a like beginning stage or something to like just show, for example, like tic-tac-toe or like just jumping yourself. Something. Or I mean, even though it is 3D, I because I also use Fable, I know how it looks like. But actually, it also like have some basic mechanism. But if you really want to put it in the middle of a workflow and like to make it the professional iteration, it is actually not the, I mean, really like fitful for the habit people are currently have to making games. So yes, they still need to design like a whole workflow for putting that tech stack inside.
I see your point.
So it is more like just helping them to generate code faster or something like that. So actually there still need to have a combination. So so like just imagine like 20 years ago, so you say you want to make a game and you are a programmer background, so you use C++, so let's go. So
that totally makes sense. Would Gorest be accumulating any proprietary data, while user using it?
You mean did we train our own model or? Okay, so currently we are like trying to make the product to be like put into customer and makes the like interaction to be good enough and workable enough. So we are more like combining the API from others.
I see.
And but maybe like we can have the time or chance to like use our own model in the future.
I mean, once you grow and have accumulate enough data points, then you can feed it and to refine it and to have your own fine-tuned version of the model that could serve better purposes.
And we do want to because in the previous episode before this one, actually, we talked to another friend who is doing a product which he calls it a cursor for Blender. So I think he's also kind of automating this model building process. But I think he's more focused on industrial design part of the story instead of like game asset generation. And do you see kind of this, I think there are a lot of people, and we also met another friend who's building like a kind of model building, but for construction industry specifically, because they also need to, for example, you have this design for a building, for example, they need to build a 3D model for that, right? And I think these 3 examples, including yours, they are, I suppose they maybe have some overlap in their technology to some extent. Do you see them as your potential competitors, or would you cross-field in the future sometime?
I think the first thing is about focus. Like architecture also need to make something similar to Greybox. Like but I mean not the games Greybox. Like architecture has their own block code. But their focus is more like they are more focusing on, for example, the like each of the centimeter need to be accurate enough to test whether the architecture. So they have different like things they are really need to pay attention to. And for like people, like for example, we are making games, so it's about how the visual direction, how the like for example the light direct you to which way. So that is our like focus. So it's kind of like really different. So that is the first thing. And for like strategy generation, so or maybe like architecture generation, so it's actually just like generating model or something. But I think they're actually totally different things. But sometimes I think for our product, the good thing is that maybe if we like work really well in game industry, there also be like, for example, Unreal also not only work for game, also like simulation or like space simulation or like architecture or like those kind of project also be work on Unreal. So actually similar to our product, we can also be applicable in our other industries sometimes. But actually, if you mention about like platform, like those are kind of really different. And I think you mentioned beginnings about like game for cursor platform, right? Yeah. So I'm not sure because cursor for game, from my understanding, is more like using AI to generate codes for games or something like that. Yeah, but I mean, like game is not just about code; it's about many different layouts and many people are working together. So, yeah. So I'm not sure. Like, I think it should be more specific, maybe.
Okay, I think that one is he called it like cursor for Blender. You know Blender, the one which you make. Basically 3D models, right?
Okay.
That's that software. Yeah, I think for example, he showed us some use cases. For example, you want to make a vacuum cleaner. You just prompt it, give your description, and it would just generate a Blender ready to export model in the in his software, right? I think.
I'm not even sure if you need to export it to the Blender. I think Nala is built on top of Blender.
Yeah. So basically, you have a finished product which you can use directly. Yeah.
I think it's more like MCP. So actually, people use generative AI to create model, or they can use MCP for Blender to create a model. But actually, if you compare like the token for each of the pipeline, you can feel like Blender MCP actually runs huge more than generative AI. Like few cents for generative AI and like maybe like $40 for Blender for that. So that's actually really costly, but actually the result is similar, just to build something for you, build a model for you. So it's actually not about the whole process or like just like question about if those products, because it's actually a new industry, it's still blue sea. Because when you are questioning, so we have so many tools, so can you like work on me, like just make a triple A game right now? So the answer is no. So the industry is really blank, and
well, I want to.
People still, you will.